not quite there yet. All right, here we go. Happy Monday, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. We are here for another episode of our 10 at Lunch. I'm here with Coach Tiffany Heath out in Utah, and excited to have her today. We're going to talk about 3 ways to improve your sleep, which is something I know we all can benefit from. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Coach Tiffany. She'll be leading today, and I'll be popping in just to add wherever I can. And like we've done with these in the past, just post your comments. I'm going to be monitoring the comments and questions, and I'll throw those over to Coach Tiffany or answer them myself as we move forward. So Coach Tiffany, I'll let you take it from here, and you can tell everyone about your challenge actually that you have going on right now too.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm so excited for this. I'm excited to talk about the sleep for sure, because this is a huge one. But I'm also excited about my challenge that kicks off today. And so it's called Change Your Mind, Change Your Weight. And it's for women, moms or women who just have really kind of struggled with the yo-yo dieting or just being consistent, with your exercise and your fitness, and just getting really frustrated when you keep trying and you can't seem to reach those goals of yours. And so I put together this 5-day challenge on how it really does revolve around, your mindset and the whole how to do it. I think too often we focus on the what, but in order to really see the change, we have to focus on the how. So anyways, yeah,
absolutely.
Pop that in, that's today, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm super excited. But
awesome.
Well, let's get into the sleep then, because
yes,
this is a good one. And I try to, there's so many things when it comes to sleep. And so, narrowing it down into the kind of the top 3. And so the first step or tip, whatever we want to call it, is creating a sleep routine. And people might be like, well, what's a sleep routine? Basically, it's just kind of a routine that you do before bed every night, just to help set yourself up for the best possible night's sleep you can. Because obviously we can't always control the quality of our sleep or how much sleep we get, but we can focus on just trying to do everything we can to increase our chances of getting a good night's sleep. So when it comes to that sleep routine, basically try to shoot for the same, if possible, the same time every night that you're going to go to bed. And then you're just going to kind of plan to start your sleep routine 1 to 2 hours before that. And what your sleep routine might entail, it would include things just like getting ready for bed, it could be some type of de-stressing, whether that's taking a hot bath or a shower or reading a book or turning off electronics and things like that. And I think the thing to remember here is just in the morning when we wake up, we don't go from sleeping to all of a sudden, okay, I'm ready to go in 5 seconds. And so it's the same at night. We can't just expect to fall asleep in the minute our head hits the pillow if we don't give our brains, our body, a chance to kind of unwind and prepare for that. So pick a few things, that might help you just get ready for bed to relax. And that is what your sleep routine might be. And then just, again, you're going to reverse engineer that from the time that you want to be in bed, work backwards, whether that might take you an hour or 2 hours. It just depends on what you want to include in that sleep routine. But, that might be getting off electronics, an hour before bed. And I kind of talked about the anything to de-stress. I don't know, Dana, what do you like to do to get ready?
Well, yeah, I think that's a great point. So this should sound very familiar to my weighted, unweighted clients, because we actually do, this is kind of one of our modules is the sleep routine. Yes. And so I think one thing that you can do, if this feels overwhelming, if creating a routine feels overwhelming, the things that Tiffany mentioned, just build them in one at a time. What's the easiest thing for you? Is it easiest to pick a time to turn off electronics? And, maybe that's a half hour before bedtime. Start with that. And then when you have that situated, like when you have that and you're just rolling with that, then you can add the next thing. Maybe it's like turning down the lights, it's taking a bath, it's grabbing your book, any of those things. So I think the important thing is, right, you create what works for you, figure out what works for you and build on it. So don't start with like a giant routine and expect to be successful with it. Pick a piece. And then when that piece becomes pretty easy, build on the piece. Because we do want it to be, a process. But start small, like we always say.
I love that. Yes, it is all about starting small. So thank you. Yeah. Okay. So number 2 is do a brain dump. And this could be kind of part of your sleep routine. But how many times, I don't know if it's just a woman thing or a mom thing, or if everyone does this, but how many times do you go to lay down and go to sleep, and then all of a sudden, and you're so tired, you're looking forward to bed, and then your head hits the pillow, and instead of just, oh, I'm falling asleep, your brain starts racing like a million miles a minute.
We're like,
thinking about, yeah. And you're like, oh, I got this tomorrow, or I forgot to do this today. And then you get on your phone to put in a reminder or check your calendar. Before you know it, you're checking the notifications and stuff like that. And it's been an hour then by the time that you wanted to be in bed. So a brain dump is a really good way to kind of just take out everything that's in your brain, put it on pen and paper, pencil paper. Don't do it on your phone, but do that 1 to 2 hours. So you give your brain time to kind of decompress. And then, if you forget something, you still have time to kind of write that down. But I even keep like a notebook and like a pencil or pen by my bedside table. So I'm not tempted to go on my phone. I just write everything down there. And then it just kind of helps clear your mind so you can actually sleep and you're not worrying about, I got to remember this, or what about this, or what about that. And I think, again, getting in the habit of doing that, again, 1 to 2 hours before can really help just with that calming. And yeah, so
I love that. I think that's a great idea to have the notebook right next to your bedside table. Great idea.
Yeah. And then the third one is going to be set up your environment the best you can for good sleep. So kind of back to what you were pointing out as far as, small steps when it comes to that sleep routine, same thing with our environment. You may not be able to do everything all at once and clean your room and make sure it's this peaceful, beautiful place, whatever, but choosing 1 or 2 things at a time that you can do. And this could be something like, having a more organized, bedroom. So when you come to bed at night, you feel relaxed. It promotes that just that relaxation a little bit. It could be dimming the lights, making sure the room is dark, whether that's closing the curtains, or if you need the dark out, what are they, the curtains that are dark.
Like the blackout shades. Yeah.
Thank you. The blackout shades. That's a really good way. So you can have the room dark. We're going to sleep a lot better, when the room's dark. White noise, sometimes this can be a little challenging when you have a partner or, spouse, and sometimes if they're loud breathers or whatever, or it's hard to sometimes fall asleep. So I found for me, sometimes a white noise machine just kind of helps drown out, especially if I'm trying to go to bed earlier than the rest of my family. That white noise can help just drown out all the other sounds and help me just, again, relax. It could be a sleep mask. Temperature. I've noticed the temperature is huge for me. As I get a little older, I have to have the temperature cold, or I will wake up in night sweats. Or just wake up. Sometimes I'm not even sweating, but I wake up and I'm like, what? And then I remembered, I didn't turn the temperature down. And that's interesting that it does make a difference for me. So what are the things do you do for your environment?
Yeah, I love the environment piece. I think that's really, it's really important. One of the things we do pretty early, I do with my clients, is working on making their bed in the morning, right? As part of, so, even if and then usually what happens when people start making their bed, if they're not doing that, like it sort of leads to then maybe straightening up your room a little bit,
Yes.
keeping it tidy. And like, you
Mhm.
know, I think that does really help. Like if you
Yeah.
have sort of a clear environment, um, it makes a huge difference. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that the white noise too, that's another great one, but really kind of creating the environment that
Mhm.
you need to sort of thrive in. And like if you can walk into your room, and even if the rest of your house is a, you know, is a disaster, right? Like
Right.
as often is,
Yeah,
right? Like it probably is, like we're,
absolutely.
it's life, real talk here. You know,
Yeah.
if when you can walk into that room and you can just whew, like take a breath and sort of feel some peace, I think that that is really key.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
So
it.
yeah. So I think that was that awesome. I love that we're, you know, on the same page with a lot of these things. And I think that, you know, sleep is such an important piece. And like, obviously, we know nutrition is important. And
Mhm.
obviously, we know exercise is important. And that's the stuff that we hear about all the time. Um, but you could be doing all of those things right. And your sleep is horrible, and it's going to be very hard for you
It
to
is.
have progress, right? Like it's,
Mhm.
I know it doesn't seem like that sometimes. You're like, well, it's only sleep, like I'm still doing all of these other things, but sleep affects so much, you know,
Yeah.
hormonally, physically, mentally, like there's just so many pieces. um so I think it's definitely
Absolutely.
something worth addressing on a
Yeah.
regular basis for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, and it's just our bodies. I think there was a quote, I remember something recently that just said like, when in terms of like our fitness and our ability to just like feel good, be stronger, you know, like it really is, it starts with the recovery, and sleep
Hmm.
is part of that. And if we are not getting enough sleep, especially, you know, on a chronic basis, like if we're
Yeah.
sleep deprived, it's one thing to not sleep well every now and then. But if, yeah, if you're really struggling with your nutrition and fitness, and I think it's worth, like you said, taking a look at the sleep, because if you are chronically sleep deprived or just not getting as much as your body needs to recover, it really does impact our ability to be able to do the other things. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
for
I'm glad
sure.
you brought that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So it looks like a few people were watching. We don't have any questions. So good. That means hopefully that we were super
Yes.
thorough and they have some actionable steps that they can take from, you know, from today. So
Yeah.
again, Coach Tiffany is doing a challenge this week. So we'll put the link to her group in the comments, and jump in and join her. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. So think about what you guys would like us to talk about. We have plenty. We could sit up here and
Yeah.
talk all day, but we'd love to
Yeah.
hear what you guys would like to hear. So if you have an idea for something you'd like us to talk on a little bit more, just drop it here in the comments. And we look forward to seeing you guys again in 2 weeks.
Sounds good. Thanks,
All
everyone.
right. Thank you.
Bye.